What's up, guys? My name is Sammy Forson, host of the Weekend City Show and Ignition right here on Joy 99.7 FM. Well, anytime you happen to be busy and you miss out on your favorite shows right here on Joy FM, here's what you can do. Log on to myjoyonline.com/podcast. Just go on there and you'll find all your shows on demand 24/7. There you can catch up. Remember, Joy FM remains your radio for discerning listeners.
Hi, Israel.
Yeah.
It's good to be back on this set.
And you're looking adorable, as always.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Trying
Yes.
to promote, locally made attire.
Yeah, I'm also wearing a local outfit.
You look good.
Thank you very much. Okay, so this morning, what was your experience with the rain?
Well, it's been raining cats and dogs.
Oh, yeah.
It's been raining cats and dogs. And almost everywhere I passed was flooded. And, I had to drive extra slow. And people know that I'm not a slow driver. So, this one, it was, it's been raining since I think 3 or 4. And so, and it hadn't let up until now. And so I had to really drive slowly because there were puddles of water all over the road.
So Araba says, she had to drive slowly. I was following her, and that wasn't slow.
What do you mean it wasn't slow?
If that was slow, then people should see you when you're speeding.
I was trained by, Jaguar, so I have to live up to the name,
Okay.
But yeah, I was driving slowly, But people should really drive slowly,
Yeah.
this morning because
And it's likely to
water
impact on traffic as well. So as you step out later on in the day, just be mindful. I'm sure some vehicles are also going to break down on the road. All right, so let's get into the newspapers. And today I'm leaving the Daily Graphic to you, Araba.
Oh, how kind of you, how kind of you.
Yeah,
but since we're talking about rain, let me start with the Daily Graphic. And one of the stories on the front page, 9 die after torrential rain in Northeast. That's on page 16. So let me read a little bit of that. It says 9 people made up of 4 males and 5 females have died in rain-related incidents in the Northeast region following days of downpour that battered a number of communities. And it says the death occurred in Janga in the West Mamprisi municipality and other places as well. 3 of the deceased were struck by thunder, Israel, thunder and lightning, when one of the boats he was using to cross the White Volta capsized, while 2 were swept away when they tried to cross a river during the downpour. But why would you try and cross a river when there are heavy rains?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe there's a reason for that. But also on the front page of Daily Graphic, state media must assert independence. And that is coming from Professor Kwame Kakare, who is the chairman of the board of directors of the Graphic Communications Group. And that story is also on page 16 of the Daily Graphic. And it's written by Emmanuel Ebo Hodgson. And it goes on to say that Professor Kakari says, in every good democracy, people make systems work. Therefore, state media managers and editors must not be afraid when exercising the rights afforded them by the 1992 Constitution. And I'm sure he's referring to the fact that usually state institutions, media institutions, often just take whatever is thrown at them by whichever government is in power at the time. Yeah, so they're not able to assert themselves. Yeah. Another story on the front page, ban use of public lands for private gains. That's coming from the Lands Minister, Samuel Abu-Jinapo. His picture is on the front page, and he says that there should be a ban or a freeze on the granting of public lands for private individuals until further notice. Now, he's saying this because a freeze on the granting of public land for private purposes would help preserve the resource for future generations. And Israel, we all know the issues that come with land acquisition in this country. People have even died as a result. We've done stories about land guardism, and all of that. So perhaps this might work. It remains to be seen. On the back page, Roads Minister inspects damaged drains, roads in Tamale, and quarries in Ashanti protest encroachment. That's it for the Daily Graphic.
Okay, so that's it for the front page and back pages of the Daily Graphic. But your you should feel free to delve into the newspaper.
Oh, really?
And get to. But let me take the Ghanaian Times while you do
You know,
that.
I usually do radio, and we don't have much time on radio, so
Okay.
I just thought about doing, you know, touch and go.
Well, we're generous.
But if
here.
I have time,
I
can delve into it. You know
we're
what I
generous
mean?
here on the AM show. Let me do the Ghanaian Times, and then you can come back and
Sure.
see which other stories excite you in the daily graphic. So in the Ghanaian Times, we have the same story about the 9 perishing canoe disaster following flooding in northeast region. And the story goes, 9 people drowned when the canoes by which they were crossing streams to their destinations capsized in the northeast region. The disaster followed recent flooding that hit the region, resulting in the rising of water level of streams and rivers, destruction of houses, properties, and displacement of some people. Then also on the front page of the Ghanaian Times, 6,000 teenage girls in Volta region pregnant in 2020. Wow, that's still a problem. President Lord's Rotary International for contribution to national development and iron steel industries to create more jobs. That's Samuel Abujinapo, that's the Minister for Lands and Natural Resources. And 2 MPs, one other challenge emolument of spouses of President Veep at Supreme Court. And the story goes, 3 persons, including 2 members of Parliament, have filed a writ at the Supreme Court urging it to declare some recommendations of the Professor Ya Intiamwa Bedu Committee on Salaries and Emoluments of Spouses of the President and the Vice President as unconstitutional. So the MPs have decided to follow this. They have been paying with controversy, and the First Lady and the wife of the Vice President, they said they were returning or refunding monies that had been paid to them. But now these MPs are actually going to the Supreme Court to strike that out of the Professor Ya Intiamwa Bedu Committee Salaries and Emoluments report. Okay, so also in the Ghanaian Times, 37 West African nationals repatriated. That's on page 3. Then in African news, Zambia's new president inherits empty treasury. Africans decry vaccine apartheid, and Tigrayan forces.
What is it with the, you know, successive governments always complaining that, you know, they always come to find the coffers empty? Every government seems to say that. Every new government seems to say that.
It tends to happen in Africa. Having heard that, having heard maybe Donald Trump or
the coffers are empty,
Biden,
but they still manage to survive and, you know, roll out their policies.
Well, yeah. But it's unfortunate, and I think one other thing that tends to happen is people feel that they can loot.
Yeah.
When there's a new government or they have to leave office. They feel they can spend or take monies, or they feel they should take monies out because I'm not going to have access to these funds and the lifestyle anymore. But it's unfortunate.
That's true. Even in the case of the Zambian new president, he makes the point that even as he assumes office, there are some ministers, former ministers, who are still trying to remove money and you know, take them away.
Okay, we go to on page 6, Taliban victory parade as they plan governments. Biden defends US hasty exit in post-Afghanistan withdrawal remarks. And then, majority of Ghanaians not confident in government protecting country's financial resources. That's a CDD survey. And we'll be talking a bit more about that with our MPs this morning on AM Talk. Query source of income, wealth of some people, security experts, which is very true. This is something we should be doing. We should have started doing a long time
This call has been made several times, but I mean, is there the political will to do that?
We should. And indeed, you're talking about political will. I'm sure their politicians will be affected.
Of course. That's why there is no political will to ensure that this is done.
Yeah. All right. On page 10, consult experts to construct durable roads. Roads Minister to estate developers. Government committed to completing second phase of Bechabi Lamte interchange on schedule. On the politics page, MPP NDC admits nation operating problematic constitution. Kofi Abuchi asserts. MP highlights development projects in constituency. And NDC electoral reform proposals not born out of election 2020 bitterness. That's a free Ankara saying that. And one other story that's making headlines, Greater Accra PNC Chairman Ma's party's press conference, and it had to do with the confusion at
yesterday,
the PNC news conference yesterday. Create cordial relationships with MMDAs to accelerate community development, chiefs urged. And West Africa region, ground for extremist recruitment, radicalization. That's a problem. Self-employed urged to sign on to SNIT. And then in the center spread, COVID-19 vaccines are safe. Ghana Health Service asked public to disregard misinformation. And yes,
is there misinformation about
that. Well, yeah, there's been misinformation. People are saying you're going to get blood clots, and that's a whole lot going on. It's all fake news. So please, just go out there. And I'm not sure if that's the reason some people are hesitating to take the vaccine in the Ashanti region.
Yesterday, there were reports of vaccine hesitancy in the Ashanti region, where the officials have sent over 70,000 doses. And yet very few people turned up to take the jabs. So that's something to look at.
So the Ghana Health Service is saying that the vaccine is safe, and they had gone through strict international regulatory approval. Hence, every individual must take it. So yes, let's do that. Let's go out for it. I've had my jab. Arabatu has had her jabs.
Double jabs.
Yeah. So, and we're fine. I mean, we're here with you. If it wasn't safe, I'm sure we probably would have been knocked out or something. But yeah, we're here.
Okay.
Iron Steel Industries to create more jobs. That's Jennifer President. Lost Rotary International for contribution to national development. Whole 66 Artillery Regiment was offering jobs to SHS graduates. Okay, so wow, you mean?
I mean the time span. Wow.
I'm doing all the news. Okay. Let me quickly wrap it up. Middle East region receives 8,000 doses AstraZeneca vaccines, and 6,000 teenage girls in Volta region pregnant in 2020. That's the story that was on.
How many girls?
6,000
in the Volta region.
In the Volta region in 2020.
Wow.
Okay.
I think in the Upper East it was about 4,000 or so. Okay. But nationwide it's about 100,000, over 100,000. Just within the period of the school shutdown during the pandemic.
On the back page, government moves to address poultry feed shortage. Good. And 2,000 Kwabibrim youth to gain community mining jobs. All right, Araba, over to you now.
All right, so I still have the graphic with me. Page 19, quite a number of political stories here. I mentioned the PNC, the disruption of the PNC press conference yesterday. And it was because the Greater Accra regional chairman of the party stormed the press conference and was demanding, reasons why the General Secretary, Janet Nabla, had been suspended. He thought that it was unfair.
Yeah.
But the party insists that, she was suspended because of gross misconduct and insubordination. What they mean by that, we don't know. But so that story is on page 19 of the graphic. Also on page 19, sale of enlistment forms unethical. And that's according to the CPP. And yesterday, the chairperson of the CPP, Nana Akosua Frimpoma Sapong Kumankuma. Did I pronounce that right? Nana Akosua Frimpoma Sapong Kumankuma.
Yeah, we're good.
Chairperson of the CPP. She addressed a press conference and she says that the sale of application forms for enlistment into the security services is unethical and amounts to extortion. And the party is therefore asking for the monies to be refunded to the applicants. And it's given the security services up to September 21, that's in 2 weeks, to refund the money. Otherwise, the party will, within the confines of the law, make sure the right thing is done. And by that, I'm sure she means that they may take legal action against
but really,
the party.
How do we justify that? Why are we
100 CDs for an application form, especially in this time.
We're going to hire them. These people are believed, supposed not to have jobs.
Exactly.
And we're taking 100 CDs from them before we give them jobs.
You can imagine how much their services are making from all of that. Okay, you turn to page 20 and it has an update on the Abesim murder. The graphic is reporting that the second suspect has been released. The story is by Emilia Enin Abe, and it says the second suspect arrested in connection with the Abesim murder case has been released by the police. The identity of the suspect was not released by the police. I wonder why. perhaps they realize that he's not a suspect after all.
Yeah.
He was arrested after Richard Appiah, a 28-year-old architect, was nabbed on August 24, the alleged murder of 3 boys and keeping some body parts in a fridge in his room. And the suspect, as you know, is alleged to have murdered his stepbrother and 2 others. And the remains of a 3rd victim, who was cut into pieces, is yet to be identified. So that's the story there. The 2nd suspect has been released, I suppose, for want of prosecution. So he's been let go on that. We'll have to be following up on that. Also on page 20 of the graphic, 446, 321 candidates participating in WASI, and reports from across the country show that everything is going on well. That's according to the graphic. Well, I'm yet to hear of any issues. You know, usually what characterizes these exams, the leakage of exam papers and all of that. I'm yet to hear any of that. Let's turn our attention to page 36 of the graphic, and there it says school feeding program wants grant increased. And the story is by Emmanuel Bonnet. It reads, the Ghana school feeding program says it has made proposals to the government to consider increasing the feeding grant per student to an appreciable amount. It expressed the hope that government will consider the proposal, taking into consideration the current economic situation. And it says, we have sent the proposal to government to consider increasing the feeding grant. So that's according to Siba Alpha, who is Public Relations Officer of the Ghana School Feeding Program.
All right. Thank you very much, Araba. Let's move to the Daily Guide. And in the front page of the Daily Guide, EC denies NDC 1 million ballot claims. The story is on page 3. It says a claim by the opposition National Democratic Congress that it intercepted 1 million extra ballots in the Ashanti region in the heat of the 2020 presidential and parliamentary elections has been rubbished by the Electoral Commission, describing it as pure lies. Okay. Then machete wielding to whom MPP man grabbed. And there's a photograph here we're told as Kofi Eje, a.k.a.
Protozoa.
Jamal.
This don't Protozoa. Okay.
Jamalo.
I wonder how he got that name, though.
So the Protozoa is Frank Isiedu-Beckwen.
Oh, okay.
Who, by the way, is not Franklin Isiedu-Beckwen of the Ghana Health Service. The Ghana Science Copyright Protocol, Liu Mahama heads GISTEC board. And there's a cartoon on page 3, Lieb Deutschland. Ghana is grateful. Frau Kanzarin. So it has a photo of a needle with the AstraZeneca on it, heading it, making its way to Ghana. Then on page 5, Zambia's new president inherits empty treasury. It's a story that's been making the rounds. And Rotary boss meets Nana Addo Dankwa as president. And tell government success story, MPPU told Western region to get 6 Agenda 111 hospitals. And then in the center spread of the Daily Guide, you haven't seen nothing yet. Promzi hints a return. Okay, cool. And
Promzi of what? VVIP?
Yeah, VVIP. so
he's staging a return?
Former member of VIP, Promzi has been responding to widespread claims that
I've
he has
seen
left
pictures of him going around on social media.
Yeah, he posted some photos.
That's a very weird hairstyle.
It's here.
I know. I mean, you can see the. So yes, I don't even know how to describe it. It's just like a few strands, and he's pulled it into a ponytail. It's just weird.
Okay, Tofik Abdul Nasser wins Best Male News Presenter Award. Okay, Enam engages UNFPA ahead of breast cancer campaign. And Ghana records $874 million in investments in first half. Organic waste charcoal wins Israeli Green Award. And on the back page, Ronaldo explains City snub, and Ansu Fati handed Messi shirts. Ghana Juniors Golf rock Achimota, and Hazaka's ladies promise to conquer Africa. Okay, wish them all the best.
All right, I have the Daily Dispatch with me, and the big story there. Director of Research at the Presidency said their own findings are similar to ours. That's according to CDD. And this is because the CDD the outcome of their survey.
So essentially, their survey has been corroborated, or
by the director of research at the presidency.
Okay.
That's what they're saying. So that's the big story there.
Right.
Let me read a bit of that because that seems like an interesting story. So the Director of Advocacy and Policy Engagement at the Ghana Center for Democratic Development has dismissed claims that the post-election survey organized by the CSO, which indicates that most respondents doubt government's ability to protect the public purse, is influenced by propaganda. Dr. Kojo Asante stated that the results of the survey are the true reflection of the people's opinion of the incumbent government. And he says, interestingly, Mr. Owusu Mensah, who is the Director of Research at the presidency, did affirm that similar studies have been done and the findings are similar. So I don't know whether this is propaganda. As far as we know, this is what Ghanaians are saying. Yeah. And he was speaking to Evans Mensah on Top Story on Joy 99.7. So that story is on page 2 of the Daily Dispatch. Also on the front page of the Dispatch, my Wache joint has exposed me to some realities facing Ghanaians. That's according to Deputy Majority Leaders on the back page of the paper, also on myjoyonline.com. And Chief Imam has not violated any Islamic law in cathedral donation. That's according to Sheikh Aremeyao.
Okay, so since we're running out of time, we'll just read the front page.
Because he spent 1 whole hour on
ADB to Partner Development Bank to revolutionize agri-financing. MTN doles out 10 million cedis to government support female participation in ICT industry, and patronize bond market GSE boss to businesses. Okay.
So that story about the CDD survey, it's also on the Daily Statesman front page. Okay. It says MPP was its own problem in 2020, and that's been attributed to Professor H. Kwesi Prempeh, who's Executive Director of CDD Ghana. Also on the front page of the Daily Statesman, Ashanti Regional Security Council to clamp down on traffic irregularities, and Ghana records 19 COVID deaths in 2 days. 19 in 2 days. That's very serious. Yeah. And COCOBOD pilots farmers' pension scheme. That is all on the front page of the Daily Statesman.
All right, so let's get to my Joy Online quickly and get to see the stories that are there. So we have suspension of PNC's General Secretary Legal. That's the Greater Accra Chairman on the chaos at the news conference yesterday. Survey on the Akufo-Addo's ability to protect the public purse, not influenced by propaganda. That's Dr. Santi saying that. Akufo-Addo hired another jet to UK and Germany, which cost £14,000 per hour. Blackwell alleges. National Cathedral, I always pray for your forgiveness. Chairman of Board of Trustees to critics, to whom MP's driver in police grips following clash among MPP members in constituency. Joy FM, Multimedia Group, and ETO to file suit against Kennedy Japan today.
Actually, it was filed yesterday.
Yes. So that's the story. It was published, I'm sure it was published yesterday. Refund money is collected from unsuccessful job applicants, CPP to government. COVID-19, Ghana records 19 deaths in 2 days. Very worrying. Let's use psychological assessment tools to measure motives of serial killers. Okay, so that's it for the news review. And you can get to my Joy Online and get to read some more of the stories there, get the details of the stories. And there are a whole lot more. We have a lot more of those stories that are not on the main page, but they're in there and very interesting as well. Thank you very much, Sharma Kumsi.
It was a pleasure doing this.
To do the news
Am I doing this tomorrow?
We should.
And the day after that?
And the day after that.
And the day after that. Just kidding.
Okay, so we're taking a break. But yes, we still want to hear your experience as far as the rains are concerned. So you get onto our Facebook page and get to tell us what's happening there. We'll be back with you in a bit. Don't go away.